Welcome back, everybody. Another week that was in the Marvel Strike Force FixMSF movement and game and community and media and all these different type of things. So today's video, just kind of wrapping up a week a little bit. We got a couple interesting tidbits that popped up today. One of them from a former content creator that no longer plays the game, which really kind of opened my eyes to some things, and I want to talk about that a little bit, Seatin specifically. So if you haven't seen it, his video, I'll put the link in the description below. And then there's a couple news articles or online articles, whatever you want to call them, that popped out. And we're going to look at some of the things that dropped in the game briefly and just give some of my own personal comments. Nothing that's FixMSF related, but I did want to kind of just chat and my initial thoughts on these and just share them with you. So anyway, let's get to it.
Bring me WolverThor!
So, got another article from PocketGamer. This one's titled Speaking to the leader of the 15,000 user strong, 15,000 user strong boycott threatening to choke Marvel Strike Force over in-app purchases, which is what IAP stands for. All right, so there's an interview here with Fates. I won't necessarily read this line by line, but it talks about Fates being part of the Legion cluster and how it's got 28 different alliances in it, which is huge. I think it even says it might be one of, if not the biggest, I forget. I don't know if Pants is the same size or if the Sigma or Wakanda's. I'm not good with keeping track of that type of stuff, but anyway, it's huge. He talks about how we played early on. See, first launch, or the game launched back in 2018. It's free to play technically, and it got a huge player base. In the time since it launched, this well-funded title from an incredibly talented studio, which, you know, given some of the animations and stuff and some of the other things, it's, you know, you can definitely say that, was outwardly continued to prove and grow in the ways you'd expect. This person who's written this article has covered it several times in the past, always being impressed by its post-launch support and ever-expanding roster. So it talks here about Fates playing shortly after global launch. His continued involvement with the game basically comes down to the community and not, you know, any gameplay hooks or whatever you want to call it, you know, collecting characters, etc., etc. It's a fairly standard tale of a game that also appears fairly standard, that relies on a tried and tied monetization model to remain alive. Those on the inside, the leaders of the game's community, the players spend huge sums of money, see things very differently. One point that keeps coming up throughout all the chats: Fate's friends are moving on in droves. I can totally relate to that. I am losing tons of alliance mates, people I consider friends, just kind of walking away from the game. You know, it's a struggle every weekend. Okay, who'd we lose? We got to build someone, you know, bring someone back. Let's go recruit. Let's see if they're the right fit. Our alliance, personally, we don't just take based on numbers. We try to get a feel for people. So I get this. And, you know, I'd love to have beers with some of the people who I've met in this game. Some seem super cool, chill, just funny, smart. And so many of those he met and befriended the game, they became done with the game. We feel, indeed, many in the community feel that we are on the verge of a collapse, end quote. And again, I can't disagree with that. I think that while the game might keep going forward, there's going to be a large exodus in the game if things don't improve. There already has been in the last probably 3 to 4 months. I mean, there might be people coming in, but old players are going away. So, you know, and if that's the model of the game, okay, Fox Next, that's the model of the game, but I'd like to think that it's not, and that, you know, more than likely you want retention so people keep spending that money. They ask Fates why. Simply put, progress. Resources have increased in a linear fashion. Linear. While what you need to progress is increased at an exponential factor. So, and I've done those gold videos. It is insane, the resources you need for this game based on what they're dropping. We've talked about this, the concept of adding 1 to 2 characters a month farmable. When you're adding 3 to 4, that you're always going to build up on that backlog. You've got to decrease the backlog. It doesn't need to be 0. It can be 10 or 20 or whatever it needs to be, but it can't be growing from 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 as you keep releasing, because then it's like, well, what's your catch-up mechanism? Okay, you need a catch-up mechanism. It's been clear based on what we've seen so far that there isn't one. So if you want to share one, feel free. But anyway, so I get that concern. Let's see. It's a problem in a lot of different aspects of the game. A great many long-running free-to-play games eventually do hit. Let's see what else we got in here. So after considering all these different factors, the answer is pretty clear. A large-scale spending boycott that just couldn't be ignored. It started out obviously as a freeze on Cyclops, and then now it's currently a full-scale don't spend on anything. Talks about gamer boycotts being the subject of ridicule. Many proved disorganized, half-hearted, ultimately ineffective. Fates understood that. He's trying to approach things differently. At the time of the writing, he and his fellow alliance leaders have rallied the top 25 in-game alliances and the majority of the top 250 to the cause. That's where you get that 15,000 number from, which is super impressive. Those leading the charge represent a variety of spending types: free-to-play, small spenders, and big spenders. Though it is undoubtedly the big spenders that they need to convert if the plans are to work. And from somebody who's kind of seen these things or talked about these things before, I tend to agree with that aspect. And one of the things that you can really appreciate from the way that Fates and the other leaders are approaching this is that it's not just about whales. They're really looking to improve every single aspect of the game or aspects of the game that can affect every single person. And I think for me to be sold on this movement, that was what was key. I was like, I didn't want to hear, well, the whales just want better rewards on, the only things that whales can do. And I appreciated that. And every conversation I had with those guys was always about, if you look at the list, I think the one thing that had to do with money was offers, and there was a list of like 10 things, and it's like, okay, all of these things that we're talking about here improve everybody's gameplay, everybody's time on the screen. So that is a wholesale, like, trying to improve for everybody, which I appreciated. So that's really kind of what sold me on that thing. Let's see. He understands the risk that he and other fellows might run into with an already fractured community. The interviewer here pointed that out. There seems to be some resentment on the game's subreddit towards those spending high amounts, who are often referred to as whales. And he says he understands that. One of the things that they want to emphasize is to not have an us versus them mentality. For those who don't care to support the movement, want to continue to spend, the economic model this game uses has to have some sort of vibe. The game has conditioned players to spend, and spend they do. And so anyway, to that point, that again, this movement is not trying to get people to, do you, and hopefully somebody else do. Let's see, why not just move on? There are plenty of high quality games that do much that Strikeforce does. Why not take a chance on any of them? And he mentions again that it's the friendships. They've built tons of close friendships, which again, I can relate to. He talks about that Marvel Strikeforce can be saved and is worth saving. The passion behind the game from players and developers is still evident, he says. The solutions to the game's issues are not difficult. They represent a new mindset of the decision makers at Fox Next. Truly believe that the game can be more profitable than ever before for all involved if they have the mindset to do so. And I agree with that. It's like, have a retention model. You can keep bringing in new people. And I'll tell you what, the new people, give them a catch-up mechanic. It doesn't have to be like, let them grind some. But the best thing to do for somebody like me or Fates or anybody else who's in this game, who's been here for a long time, is to be able to look at our friend and go, this game is awesome. And guess what? If you put in a couple months, you're going to be closer to me so we can actually play together, be in the same alliance, play against each other. There is no way anybody can do that at this point. If you start now, I'll never even see you in game, ever. So unless you drop tens of thousands of dollars in the game, which, again, is totally up to you. It talks about red stars and just kind of the broken dynamic that those are, lottery, etc. So this question, and so what does he and the boycott community want from Fox Next? I think a tangible sign that they are open to a change, and discussion would go a long way. It is a mindset shift from the current one that is designed to extract value out of the players before replacing them. to a new one that sees players as valuable and something to be cultivated. 100,000% agree. We have been telling them many of these things for months, and so far they don't want to move. Maybe because we kept spending. The interviewer asked, what happens if the boycott proves ineffective? The boycott is a line drawn in the sand. We are prepared to expand it further if we don't hear anything back from Fox next. Plenty of fellow players already enjoying the game without spending, and I'm ready to join their ranks. I'm with you there, brother. They talked about a no login day to coincide with a mass bombing review was previously on the table. Asked Fates for his opinion on what is a controversial method of player protest. It says, our main goal is to have a good faith conversation with Fox next about how the game can be improved to everyone's benefit. The review bombings, could be a way to show displeasure, but we are hoping that we can start working together with Fox next before that, which I think is a smart approach, honestly. It talks about Fox Next senior community manager was quick to respond to the initial complaint, outlining future content plans and a list of improvements the team is currently working on, including red stars. Dismal Content, another leader of the boycott, responded with a further community feedback that included proposed discussions between the community and Fox Next. At Face Fury's, I asked if Face Fury, or the interviewer asked if Face Fury was happy with Fox Next's initial response. No, not at all. While it appears they made some headway in communicating, there's a lot further to go. The boycott is currently in full effect. Regarding the boycott, this will last until we see a substantial sign from Fox Next that they are listening, based on the Reddit post from Shusky. So that's pretty much the article. There was a bunch of comments down here. Looks like a handful. 26. Silence from Fox Next is deafening. Love to see the support from the community. FixMSF. The game is predatory. FixMSF. Love the game. Play with Team. I really hope all the efforts to help make this game better than ever. Can't even express how much support this article on the boycott and the movement. I'm sick of Fox Next reading predatory ways. We all deserve better. I almost quit multiple times. The only thing that keeps me playing is my alliance mates in the community. So you get the idea. So that's the article. That was a long-winded article. Let's jump over to this YouTube video that popped up from one of the old giant content creators. Okay, so from one of the biggest former content creators of Marvel Strike Force, we got this updated video, which was I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty surprised to see. I hadn't seen anything from him in a long time. Obviously, this boycott is making waves throughout the gaming content creator industry, so to speak. So the Man of Legends, Seatin, came back and had something. If you all don't remember Seatin, this was kind of a brief thing that you'd always expect from him when he first started his videos.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So that was always his kind of intro to his every single one of his videos, and it was kind of like, ladies and gentlemen. So he goes through here and he basically reads the article that I just kind of went through, talks about some of the Reddit posts, and he actually goes back into his game here. And he jumps around a bit, looking at some things, talked about how, you know, he was doing Dark Dimension 1 and all this. And so Seatin here, I want to show this because this hit home with me pretty hard. He goes through this article and he's about to show and talk about some of the things that he's seen. So I'm just going to kind of let him talk for a second here and show it to you.
From that, it was really just grinding out rates for the most part. But now, if I look back into what content has actually been added into the game, because again, I haven't played this game properly in 18 months.
18 months!
There's absolutely nothing in any of the campaigns that I haven't already done 18 months ago.
18 months! That is mind-boggling. Now, again, he does mention, and I gotta mention that, you know, clearly there was Alliance War. Okay, that is a good, fun, you know, controversial as far as time spent game mode, but it is a good one. So you got give Fox Next some credit there. All right, you know, again, I think some people would counter that statement by saying, well, but they were working on it since the beginning of the game. Okay, fine, whatever. I get it. And then Dark Dimension, you know, so that was added. Dark Dimension 2. Since the 18-month mark that he quit. So, you know, and again, you've heard mention from me and many others that, you know, Dark Dimension 2 probably and 1 probably missed the opportunity to, make it a replayable mode for something more than just kind of a vanity, avatar around your icon. But you could have done that once or twice, 3 times a month for some gear or something. That's like Foxnex could have saved a ton of money and resources just saying, yeah, just rerun it, have them rerun that, give them a bunch of gear. Not as much as the first or second run, but something. So anyway, I was just absolutely blown away when he said that, and it just really hit home for me. That's like, it's been that long, and he talks about in here that the changes that he wanted and that he was hearing about, that they kept making promises to him, or he was surrounded, and I don't know who he talked to or what the deal is, etc. So, but he just eventually got fed up with hearing it's coming soon, we're gonna work on it, and that was what, being involved in this FixMSF movement, seeing that was so just like, he was doing that 18 months ago and we're talking about it now. Like, so anybody who says just wait, like things are coming, just stop. I mean, I get it from Foxnex perspective. In one regard, it's like they're working on something right now. That's fine, go work on something, but something that uses an excuse that's good things are coming, just be patient, just wait. No, you, anybody who says that, I would hate for you to ever get into some sort of abusive relationship, because you're never going to get yourself out of it. You got to stand up for yourself every once in a while and realize what you're in. So, yeah, I don't know how that hits home with you guys. It just knocked me on my side. I was like, what the, water the flowers, man. Like, no. So, yeah, that was a big moment for me there, not gonna lie. Okay, so now you kind of start wanting to know what oh my gosh, in-game stuff they kind of came at us with recently. So we got these challenges that popped up. I don't know if you guys have tried these yet. I haven't tried these today. Apparently some people are at least able to 3-star these. The ones from yesterday, and you look at these controllers protectors, so that, again, this concept of you don't have to bring everybody up doesn't necessarily hold true, because you need more than just a raid arena team. You need stuff to be able to get these as well. But you can see these are looking to recommend 4+ red stars. So and then this is gear tier 13 and gear tier 14. So it's like, okay, well now you're telling me I don't need to bring everybody up to gear tier 13, but I need to for this. And that's tough, and then it's like you're talking about gear tier 14 for 12, and maybe you can beat it. I don't know. I haven't tried those two yet. I know this one from yesterday, I got tired and didn't mess with this last, or I tried it, but I couldn't. I know one of the beefs that people are, and I haven't done the math on this, but people are saying that you get, based on being able to do either one or this tier 12 one, is that you only get 3 elite 4 orbs per year, which is honestly insane. I get maybe 1 a month, but 3 a year? I'm like, that is madness, and it doesn't increase. It stays 90, 45 all the way across. So the only reason you're even doing this is to get these things. And if you look at it, you need red stars to get the thing you need for red stars. And it's kind of like, okay, so I get where people are complaining about some of this stuff. This one, I had already finished this one yesterday before it changed. So, and obviously I haven't done these yet. I don't know how difficult they are, but you can see, so it's like, okay, so you're going to get a little under an orb. What do you get? 3? No, you get 1 orb per each time you do that, right? Because you get to do it 3 times. So if you can get to 700, which I don't know how hard that's going to be. But you get an orb each time that comes around, which will be, a 1 to 3-star dupe more than likely, but you at least get it. These, oh man, these blaster challenges. I can only imagine how hard these things are going to be. I can imagine. So you get some more SBCs, I think. Yeah, oh, that's nice. So they added, it's always hard to tell what you actually get here. I forget how much you get of those, but it's nice that they added the orange there. Let's see. So it looks like the purple stays the same though. So they didn't increase the purple, but they added the orange, and then it looks like they increased the orange in the next phase. So, that's nice. This one, if you can do that, that's probably pretty solid. You're probably pretty happy there. I don't know if you're able to do it though. I'm assuming it's going to be pretty tough. Again, level 75, gear tier 14, 4 reds, and it's blasters only. I remember this blaster was just so hard. So anyway, that was one thing they did. They added gold orbs. Oh man, another offer. The gold orb increase. I haven't looked at this yet myself. Work's been keeping me busy lately. So they added this. So these side ones now go up to 2 million. I don't remember the exact percentages before. I think it was maybe 1% for the 1. So now they give you a 1/4% to get 2. Okay, I mean, you're not really going to get that. I think from some of the math that I've been seeing from people doing, it was, you know, the overall weighted average on this thing it went up like 20K or something like that. So instead of getting a weighted average of like 200K, it's now 225K or 220K or something along those lines. Haven't seen it, but, you know, it's, again, depending on how many gold orbs you get, 20K is... it's not going to do you a whole lot. So the nice thing here is that they're giving you orange in the raid store. That's definitely a positive. You know, I normally have anywhere between 4 and 12,000 of these. I'm normally farming purple gear that I need, so I'll definitely probably start, you know, farming some of the I doubt they have the mini uniques in here. It'd be awesome if they did, but I'll start farming some of the basics if they're in there. So that's definitely nice. I got to give some props for that. I think there might have been another thing or two. Nothing that seemed from the community side of things that I was watching people talk that they were super stoked about. I don't know how everything's going to shake out. We'll see. But let's wrap it up. We'll see. It's Friday, February 7th. I supposedly we're going to blog today. That's probably going to say something. I'm expecting, and this is me saying this, not the movement saying this, I'm expecting some symbiote offers to pop, and I don't see the boycott being lifted at this point, based on what I'm seeing. I think that good faith in-game effort is still being discussed. We'll see how it shakes out. You know, we'll see what the blog says. So anyway, appreciate you guys stopping by. Have a wonderful day.